So today's topic is transgenerational trauma. Dun, 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 dun. So transgenerational trauma is basically, put simply, is trauma that's carried over from generation to generation. And this can happen in a bunch of different ways. Three identified ways. There could be like a direct transmission of transgenerational trauma. And so a direct transmission of trauma would be like, you have a parent and you see your parent dealing with a difficult situation, right? And so you're exposed to certain trauma. Right. Sometimes there's like domestic violence going on, or there's just violence in general. Maybe there's, for example, some parents, when they get angry with their children, they beat their children, right? And so that's something that's carried over through generations. So that's a direct transfer. Then you have environmental factors of trauma. So this could be like having a group of people that have survived a shared trauma. So one of the more common ones that we hear referred to is like the HIV/AIDS epidemic.
I think that the trauma or the experiences have become so normalized that you don't see them as an issue, like they're not a problem. Kind of like this idea, I was thinking, another thing about when you asked me what I think about generational trauma, the relationship that the male authority figure sometimes plays in the house, where you have this fear, this inert fear of, they don't show emotion, there's not love, they're just, like with my father, the father that I have now is loving and we talk, but the father growing up, it was very rare that, we were always excited when we had those loving moments, but it was always one of those things when the car pulled up, we could tell exactly what the car sounded like, and we would get into our positions and roles, and whatever his mood for the day was, that was the mood for the house.
That's right.
And so it's like it was on a dime.
Trauma can lead to depression and irritability, decreased concentration, numbing, loss of interest, insomnia, emotional overwhelm, loss of a sense of the future, hopelessness, shame and worthlessness, few or no memories, right? Nightmares, flashbacks, hypervigilance, mistrust, anxiety, panic attacks, chronic pain, headaches, substance abuse, eating disorders, feeling unreal or out of body, self-destructive behavior, loss of a sense of who I am, right? And so I'll call that in a second. So the takeaway is that trauma does have an origin. Trauma has a physical manifestation in our bodies. And I think one of the first things in healing from that trauma is being able to just name that the experience is happening. Let's take that.
I've thought about it, and I don't want to put this on my mom or whatever, but maybe it was just how the information she got. I've always said my mom was like the rock for the family, but I never got to see how she took care of herself. She was fine, but I never got to see that. And so always taking care of other people, always making it better for other people, always kind of ignoring that it's worth acknowledging what I'm experiencing and working through it. And so I mean, I feel like, I feel like that to me is a form of generational trauma.
Oh, absolutely. One of my uncles has struggled with heroin addiction all my life, and I'm 38. Yeah. I was talking to my aunt, and she's like, honey, he's been on heroin since I was a kid, and she's in her 50s, right? So he's been on heroin all his life. And so recently, he went around and he's on this kind of apology campaign, and he's been apologizing to everyone in my family. And, I heard this and I felt very hopeful. And there was a part of me that was like, yeah, dude, but like, how many times have we been here, And I hate that I had that reaction, but I'm hopeful. Yeah. But I'm hopeful. At the end of the conversation with my aunt, she says to me, sadly, he probably apologized while he was high.
Yeah, I know, absolutely.
And I thought, fuck, man.
You feel in a certain way in that.
Yeah, I want to return to something that I was going to say earlier, which is like, I'm not upset with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, addiction fucking sucks, and addiction robs people of their lives. And like that, when I think about my uncle and I think about my uncle's struggles.
And there was this one specific occasion, I believe that I want to say I was in second grade. At the time, I did not know that I was gay, but there was a girl that I had a crush on, and she was with her cousin, who ironically now is gay. And they followed me around the school and taunted me. Yeah. Well, she was just with him, but they taunted me, and he yelled obscenities and names at me, and I just wanted to get away, and I couldn't get away, and there seemed to be no kind of relief. And also, it seemed like no one else was paying attention to what this was going on, as if it were just like games that kids play. And I didn't think about this until for some time. I guess like it said, few or no memories, or not thinking about it because of the trauma or the way it felt. Because thinking about it, it's like I would die if I saw that happening to someone that was my age. That is unacceptable behavior.
That's